guys, it's Mono. How's everyone doing? Good, 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 I hope. Excuse the profuse sweating, it is 95 degrees in here right now. Anyway, so today I'm reviewing Bal Versailles by Desprez. Finally, this is a fragrance that has been on my radar for a very long time, and late last year a lovely friend of mine gave me a bottle of it, which actually smashed, and I managed to save 10 mils. So I wanted to talk about it. It's first of all loved by many. Also, there are multiple versions of it. There's eau de cologne, there's parfum, there's eau de toilette, there's parfum de toilette, there's vintage versions, there's reformulated versions, and I have to say, I'm not 100% sure which version this is. So, Bal Versailles, the ball at Versailles. This is an oriental floral animalic, all at once. My favourite style of fragrances are oriental florals. This one adds a massive big dose of animalic on top as well. This is meant to remind you of the Palace of Mirrors, balls, courtesans, fans, big dresses, sweat. It harks back to a time when fragrance was actually used to cover up the fact that people were really unhygienic, rather than when people started using perfume for pleasure or seduction. Really, it's when they used it as a mask because they were just really dirty and didn't wash themselves. Kind of like Victorian London. So that's what it's about. Yes, it's a vintage. It was released in 1962. So this fragrance has 300 ingredients. Don't get that confused with notes. I'm not going to stand here for 20 minutes listing 300 notes. It's got 300 ingredients which make up about 20 notes. So I'll tell you the notes now. The top notes are rosemary, orange blossom, mandarin, cassia, jasmine, rose and neroli, as well as bergamot, Bulgarian rose and lemon. The heart notes are sandalwood, patchouli, lilac, orris root, vetiver, ylang ylang, lily of the valley and leather. And the base notes are tolu balm, amber, musk, benzoin, civet, vanilla, cedarwood, and a bunch of other resins. So that's where the oriental comes in, the amber, the resins, tolu balm, stuff like that. And the florals, obviously it comes from the florals. So I'm gonna spray it wet on my right hand. It's no secret that this was Michael Jackson's signature perfume. Apparently he hoarded bottles of this. So if you wanna know what Michael Jackson smelled like, get your nose on this. So, what does this smell like? So, obviously it's an oriental floral. That is the first thing I feel. When I first tried it, I immediately picked out ylang ylang and a whole swirl of other white florals. I thought I was actually smelling tuberose. It's actually got an indolic jasmine in here and neroli. So you get this swirl of florals, first of all, which I really like. The opening is my favorite part of this, I must say. And they are paired together with a whole bunch of resins and a huge stamp of animalic. So civet is the backbone of this fragrance. It's the star of the show. It's what everything revolves around. And if you don't know what civet is, it is a note which was used a lot in much older perfumes. It's still used in some now, but it's synthetically produced now because it is actually cruelty to animals. It's a note which smells urinous, fecal. It gives fragrances such a depth and a vintage feeling. It's like a note which makes me instantly just feel throwback when I smell it in perfume. So it's skanky, it's hard to take, but if it's done correct, like this, it can be wondrous. So there was something that happened when I first tried this. Put together all of these white florals with ylang ylang as well, tons of resins, and what it made me think of was Lulu by Cacharel. It's like Lulu has the DNA of Bal Versailles in it, except this is like if you took Lulu, rolled it around in the dirt, and then made it had a fight with like 20 civet cats. That's what it's like. The resins in here are really cool. They pair together to make the fragrance feel like it's almost verging on smoky, which is another reason why I was reminded of Lulu. So you've got this, it's like wisps of smoke with white flowers and then this really dirty animalic smell, which makes it feel really old, really throwback, and it's very, very complicated to describe, but I'm telling you the things that jump out at me. I'm guessing every other review you read will probably say something else, but this is my take. When this is in the air, I can feel a powder. It's much more powdery in the air. It's actually softer in the air, a whole bunch. You can feel this amberiness, you can feel a touch of vanilla, and I can feel a very dainty kind of pastel rose as well, which does manage to peek through behind all of these bombastic white flowers, but that's when it's in the air. Up close, it's white flowers, resins, smoke, and dirtiness from civet. So when it starts to dry, when it's about an hour or two in, with this version, maybe try some others, I don't know, I can't really speak about that, but this is where the civet really starts to take hold even more. The kind of oriental feeling of it backs off a bit, and it turns fusty. This really has a dusty, fusty feeling to it. The civet makes it feel like something that's been left in a cupboard for a really long time, and then you pull it out and you go, oh, that smells really fusty. So this is where I'm going to say this is not an easy blind buy, so please don't come knocking on my door with a whole bunch of villagers with torches if you buy this and you say, oh my god, I don't like it. This is definitely not a safe blind buy perfume. I can see the appeal though. I can see it. It feels like one of those old school, like what I imagine an old school party in the 70s would feel like or smell like, where everyone's dumped their coats in a room, like fur coats in a room, and just that mingling smell of lots of different vintage, fusty, at the time seen as glamorous style perfumes. It's crazy how I get reminded of Lulu. I'm not saying they smell the same, but if you like Lulu and you want Lulu to be dirtier, try this, because they share some kind of something going on. The overall feeling of it when it starts to dry is drier. The entire texture of it changes. What was a little bit luscious and resinous and oriental now becomes super dry and scratchy, and this is where I start to feel leather. It's like a very dry, almost smoky leather that's really animalic. So yeah, it's like almost like all of the flowers disappear for me, apart from maybe like a slight dusty jasmine going on, but that's when it starts to feel drier, woodier. I thought it would be more resinous in the dry down, but in actual fact it isn't. It's the animalic and the leather that comes out. The resins play the biggest part when it's wet. I will say as well, I expected this fragrance, considering that it's an oriental floral and it's animalic and it's from the 60s, I thought it was going to be massive. I thought it was going to be one of those, whoa, one spray, fill a room type things. It kind of isn't. It's actually manageable. So if you're scared of things that might be overwhelming, this one version, whichever one it might be, sorry guys, doesn't feel too overwhelming. It's actually okay. I have worn this, it wafts nicely, it's just the way that it smells that might be off-putting to people. It's not, you know, even in the leagues of Lulu in how strong it is, or Opium, or Youth Dew, or any of those types of Orientals. It's actually a bit quieter, and that was really surprising. This one on me lasts about 5 or 6 hours, but as I said, there are multiple versions, multiple reincarnations. It's hard to tell. I really like that Desprez has done this whole carnal, kind of sweaty body animalic. It's kind of like this beautiful glamorous event, but the people inside it are a little bit dirty. Behind all of the powdered makeup and the big dresses and the fans, they actually haven't washed, and he's managed to create this beautiful floral with some powder and then just this big skank, and it's great. So that's my review of Bal à Versailles by Desprez. That's my kind of overall take on the way Bal à Versailles smells. It's a legendary perfume. It's been around since the 60s, and I think it still really sells today. And I will make a point of saying the one that I had did come in the most recognizable bottle. It was that clear glass bottle with the little kind of painting on the front. So that's, if that helps you decipher which one I've got, I'm not sure. So that's it. I'm Ouch Mono, trying to make the world smell better, one video at a time. Speak to you guys soon. Goodbye.